It is almost playoff time. We're about 12 to 15 games away. So this is the final episode where we're going to take a look back at some teams we're not going to be talking about the rest of the season.
Nope.
No, not at all.
No.
So let's get into foul trouble. All right, Patrick, there are 10 teams in the NBA who do not make the play-in/playoff, and we're going to rank the 5 of them that we think have the brightest future going forward. And it's kind of simple as that. We're saying goodbye to some great teams, the Trailblazers, a team. I feel like this season, I don't want to be mean to Blazers fans. I feel like the Blazers were the single most irrelevant team of the season.
Yeah, they were.
Can I give them that award?
I mean, just like think back. I feel bad for the Trailblazers because of how weird. Honestly, it's totally Joe Cronin's fault. But because of how weird the Dame trade played out, they were so stuck like half between like a play-in-esque roster and just like a complete like Tankapalooza roster that they just like it caught them in the middle of being so bad that they just like I don't know. They're not in your top 5, are they?
No, they are definitely not my top 5 brightest futures. I mean, I feel like because I'm thinking about like the Spurs. They've been relevant because of Wemby. I feel like the Grizzlies were probably the second most relevant, but we still had like those GG Jackson games. We had some like
they got Vince Williams Jr.
Constant discourse. The Jazz had a moment for a while. The Rockets have definitely not been an irrelevant team. On the Eastern Conference, it's like the Wizards and Pistons have kind of been the talk of the league all year because of because of how futile it's been. Hornets, a little Brandon Miller talk. Raptors were involved in a lot of trades. I guess the Nets maybe are third for the most irrelevant team.
So my bottom 5, I ranked all 10 of these, even though we're not going to go into depth on all 10. My number 10 team as far as future projections is Wizards. I went Wizards, Trailblazers, Nets, Jazz, and then Raptors as far as like
interesting.
Raptors, I feel Raptors of that 5, I think have the most to look forward to going forward. I like that they reset the deck. I'm a little mixed on like what Emmanuel Quickley and like RJ Barrett are going forward. I think they've looked really good in the Raptors system, but I just like I don't really know how they fit with Scotty long term. Jazz, you have Lauri Markkanen. The best thing that the Jazz have right now is Danny Ainge. For me, like they are set up to kind of go in any direction. Nets, it's just really been tough.
See, I actually would have the Nets 5th on bright future, but
what
do you want to start with the Nets then?
Let's talk about just for a second. The reason why I have the Jazz and the Raptors above the Nets is both the Jazz and the Raptors have one guy that I'm like, that dude can make the All-Star game going forward. That they have somewhere to build. The Raptors and the Jazz both have all their picks. In the Jazz case, all of 3 teams' picks. Yeah. The Nets have all of Phoenix's picks.
Yeah.
But they don't have their own picks, which is really, really tough.
That is weird.
It's just like so much harder to build when you don't have control of your draft. The Raptors have a good amount of picks. They have their own picks. So that's why I put those 2 teams. Why do you like the Nets over the Raptors and the Jazz?
I kind of like the Nets for the same reason you like the Jazz. And the reason is Sean Marks.
Okay.
Because when you go back to the post-Big 3 Boston trade, and then that Nets team fizzles out, everyone was like, this team is doomed. They have no draft picks. They have no talent. And Sean Marks basically invented a new way to rebuild a team that was like, well, what if I just take in all the weird contracts, but you give me draft picks? Then all of a sudden by 2019, they've got D'Lo, they've got Jared Allen, they've got, at the time, Joe Harris was like a really solid role player, and they're, an 8th seed. And I think like Sean Marks has shown, if anything, he turned what was the NBA's worst situation circa 2016 into, in my opinion, 2022, the best team in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had the most like pure like pound for pound talent in the NBA
when they had KD, Kyrie, and Harden. And I'm looking at this team now, and I don't think Sean Marks is perfect, right? Like Jared Allen probably got traded a little too early. would have been nice to have him with those three guys.
Yeah. Kyrie a little too late.
A little too late. You know, Durant,
maybe you could have held on.
Maybe you don't even trade Durant. That's kind of where I'm at. But I still think Marks has shown, if anything, that you can give him a kind of blank slate and he can work with it. But this time around, it's not really a blank slate because while they don't have that superstar, that all-star, like, you know, you're alluding to with like a Markkanen or some of these other teams or a Barnes even, right? I just think like guys like DFS, Mikal, and Cam Johnson, I know you're a bit lower on Cam, but I still think all three of them to varying degrees have a lot of value to most contending teams. Like looking just at the East, you know, the conference they're in, the Sixers would kill for a Mikal. He's just a basically way better player than kind of someone they have. The Heat probably would love a Mikal. The Pacers would love a Mikal Bridges. The Magic, they need spacing. They'd probably love a Cam Johnson.
Totally. I mean, hey, you don't have to sell me on Mikal and Cam. I just think like from like ups, like ceiling razors, I don't think they really have them. Cam like really had the opportunity to take a step as like this guy is definitely like a starting level player on a great team. And we've never seen that. Even on the Suns, we never saw that out of Cam Johnson. I love Mikal Bridges more than like just about anyone. Like he's literally right here behind me. But he was just a huge disappointment. Like in that 30 game sample size that we saw from him last season on the Nets, he was averaging 26 points a game.
I don't think that's
and
who
he just wasn't that guy. No, he's not that
guy. If you're trading for Mikal, you're trading for him as a 3rd/4th best guy in the team role player. And I think he's the best version of the 4th best guy on a team.
Yeah, totally. And so I think
players like that are really valuable. I just think the Nets, I know they don't have that piece now. I just think I trust the front office and the starting template of trade pieces a lot. Whereas I'm guessing you have the Hornets 5?
I don't have the Hornets 5, but right around there.
Right around there. Whereas like with the Hornets, I like Miller. We very much different on LaMelo. I wouldn't really want to be stuck with a player that I personally don't think I'm that high on. I'd rather have the blank slate and the good GM. So that's why I have them 5. So who do you have 5 then?
So I have the Pistons 5.
Okay.
It's been kind of the year from hell for the Pistons. Really, like, for me, the Jaden Ivey experience, at least next to Cade Cunningham, has been kind of a failure this season. And a lot of that has to do with Monty Williams. The culture there is kind of all over the place. They've been able to revive it a bit from what it was in the middle of the season. But Jaden Ivey not really being able to figure out his shot has been a huge disappointment. But it's all about Cade Cunningham here. That's the bright spot. That's what we're looking forward to. 22 points a game, 7.5 assists and 4 rebounds. Obviously, like this is the guy that you're building around. My thing with the Pistons is like I like a Sir Thompson. There's a huge amount of question marks there in terms of like what he projects to be going forward. He's a guy with great feel on definitely defense in certain aspects of offense, but after that, it's like Jalen Duren is like your prototypical like rim rolling big that can patrol the paint. But I don't really see like what the future is for this team. Like I can't right now with the guys on the roster envision like what that next like playoff Pistons team looks like around Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cunningham. I like Duren. I like that Cunningham, 35% from 3 is not really good for the type of player we're hoping Cunningham will be, but he was not great at shooting threes, statistically before this. And I think a lot of that is like tough shots a lot of the time for a guy like Cunningham. But yeah, I guess I'm not quite as high on the Pistons. I think you'll find my list is pretty much like the Nets and the West. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm just worried because
where do you have the Pistons?
I probably have them around 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just worried that, you come into this year, you're kind of stuck with Monty Williams because of that enormous contract. And I don't know, Monty Williams doesn't seem like he's the guy to me.
Yeah.
I'm not that high on Ivy myself. I do like Duren. I love Asar, but Asar had blood clots today. He's going to miss the rest of the season. Last time I saw an NBA player get blood clots was Chris Bosh. He got them in back-to-back years, and he retired in the middle of his prime. So I don't know. That
huge question mark.
Huge question mark.
Don't need to speculate. But
really,
huge question mark.
Really scares me. I am very high on Asar as well. But it's weird though, because I feel like Asar almost needs to play on a team where you can handle the ball more. And I feel like Cade, I guess the thing that's really nice about Cade is realistically he can be a main ball handler or a secondary ball handler on a really good team. And I think I really like that scalability from Cade. But I think what sucks for this team is that they had their year from hell in what we're perceiving to be a weaker draft class. So if our perceptions end up being reality, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, if this is your last great pick in the lottery, you really got to hit it. And it's going to be so much harder to hit in a draft class like this. Exactly what you alluded to. So you had who'd you have at 5?
I had the Nets.
You had the Nets at 5, which we talked about a little bit. And then who did you have at 4?
I have the Jazz.
You have the Jazz. Okay. So you're a lot higher on the teams that have done a little bit more of winnings. Are you looking at this, who has the best future going forward, more of on a short term?
I'm probably
schedule?
going 3, 4, 5 year timeline.
Okay.
I don't think any of these teams are going to be competing for a 2 seed within 2 years.
Well,
maybe my 2 and my 1 could be, but not my.
Okay, yeah,
not my
I'm probably on the same place. Yeah, I think I might have been looking a little bit further out, definitely 5 years, but who is building towards something sustainable?
Yeah, so I like the Jazz for a lot of the reasons I like the Nets, in that I don't actually know if I like any of the players that much they currently have, but I like the front office. This Utah 2024 first from Oklahoma City, Houston, or LA Clippers. Obviously, that's going to be okay. 2024 second from Memphis. 2025 first from Cleveland. That'll be okay. 2025 first from Minnesota. That'll be okay. So, I mean, none of the picks are crazy, but I like just the accumulation of all the picks. I like Markkanen as at least the building block to maybe make a mega trade next season, or at least just can kind of continue to build around. And I guess for me, I like having the tried and true infrastructure of a front office that I've seen do it before. Mm-hmm. And I think what scares me about a Pistons or a Wizards is I've only really seen the Pistons be kind of bad for a long time. I've only really seen the Wizards give out hilariously bad contracts to shooting guards every 5 years. This Bradley Beal contract is a legacy contract that extends to Gilbert Arenas. This is kind of the Wizards' MMO, no matter who's the GM. So I don't know. Are we about to get Jordan Poole a second contract in 3 years? Because that's kind of how the Wizards roll.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say their new GM has been very shrewd. He's been a lot better. But I don't know, man. I'm not superstitious. I'm not a spiritual guy. I don't believe in ghosts, but I kind of believe in the stink franchise.
I think this is some big market bullshit.
No, I don't think the Grizzlies are a stink franchise.
This is just the life cycle of a franchise. Look at even the Lakers. They were bad for 8 years.
But then they're good.
Yes. And I mean, I think the Wizards are the exception to the rule. But you look at this list and it's these are the 10 worst teams. I mean, obviously we've seen the Jazz be really good recently. We saw the Raptors win a championship not that long ago. Pistons, Hornets, those are more exceptions to the rule, but we've seen at least the Pistons be good in the last 25 years.
Well, we definitely have seen the Pistons. I don't want to be unfair to the Pistons.
The Rockets have been great. The Spurs have been great.
I don't have the stink franchise tag on those teams. It's it's pretty much just the Wizards and Pistons that I'm applying it to.
But even the Pistons
and the Hornets. The Hornets are getting it too.
We've seen the Pistons win the championship in our lifetime.
We have. But since then, it's been rough.
Okay. But I just, I don't know if it's fair.
Well, cross sport, big market team. I think my Giants have the stink franchise. We stink. Like, we just, no matter what we do, we're always bad.
But you guys have won multiple championships in our lifetime.
Since then. But when you're bad for a decade plus, you earn the tag.
Okay.
Sorry, Pistons fans. I would love to be proven wrong. I don't like when teams are perpetually at the bottom. It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big thing. Ownership has so much to do with teams that are bad for a really, really long time. And like, we saw that with the Phoenix Suns. We've seen that with the Timberwolves over the course of their existence. And we've seen that with my number 4 team a lot, and that is the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, because I think, well, just to go back to this franchise misnomer, because with the Pistons, right? Because a lot of it is ownership, right? Like the Clippers were bad for like 30 plus years. They're finally good. Blake Griffin, CP3 turned the franchise around. And there's like this dark cloud that hung over them until Sterling was gone.
Absolutely.
Like there's just, I don't know. And with the Pistons specifically, Gores bought the team in 2009.
That is kind of
so it's just one of those things that's like, that's kind of when they just, because before 2009, it's not like they won the championship and then they were bad in 2005. Like they were still competing for Eastern Conference
They're
finals.
in the Eastern Conference for the next 5 years.
Yeah, like they were really good, and then they've kind of been really bad since like Tom Gores took over. So that's kind of where I'm like, I don't want to just be like, this team has no future because they have the stink, but like, am I going to take Danny Ainge or Tom Gores? That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, but the reason why it is that way is because it's these like kind of like rich guys that aren't rich enough to own a team. And it's like, let's get that like check for the playoffs. We just need those 2 home games and we'll be fine. But it can go either way. You know, sometimes you're going at that strategy and you're the Pacers. And it's like some years you're really bad. Some years you're a Paul George-esque team. We are focusing on the bad teams today.
Yes.
And a team that has been bad for nearly all of its existence is the Hornets. This is a team that we differ on a lot. I really believe in the bones of this team. They don't have role players. They don't have players that are prospective role players. But the hardest thing to do in the NBA is to get guys that are star level talents. And I believe that the Hornets have 2 real star level talents in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. We've talked a little bit about Brandon Miller this year. I mean, I think you just watch him and the vision is there. This guy can create his own shot. He's really good on handoffs, is one of the better guys, points per possession on handoff possessions throughout this season. He just a really, really deep bag, really versatile athlete who has yet to fill out. And then a guy that has just been ravaged by injuries the last 2 years in LaMelo Ball. I believe in LaMelo Ball that he explodes off the screen when you watch him, when he's actually on the court. And I think it's just, he's had like 3 or 4 head coaches over his 5 years. That is not an infrastructure where you can succeed. But the guys that they are collecting, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, or Mark Williams, are all guys where they're kind of a little bit more skilled than you would traditionally see at their size. And I think that is going towards like the general trend of what the NBA is going towards, which is why I really like them.
Yeah, I think the reason we differ so much on this team is I like Brandon Miller a lot. I think like a lot of his current deficiencies are just very clearly like, okay, once this guy has like a couple off seasons in him and he gets bigger and stronger, better core strength, like screen navigation, he'll get better at that. Like being able to bump off defenders to get his own shot in the mid range, he'll get better at that. I don't know how he projects as a playmaker. That's my one worry with him really going forward, but I think he's going to be an elite wing scorer. I'm just really not high on LaMelo, and I think even if you are high on LaMelo, this is a lot of injuries now to the point where it's like, is this just going to be a guy who's always missing a ton of games? And I just don't think he's an all-star. I'll be honest. Like, he's just such a bad rim finisher. Also, like, if you were to be like, to make an all-star team, you have to be the best, 6 guards? I just don't think he is one of the top 6 guards in the Eastern Conference as it stands right now. Like, I'm just not high on LaMelo, especially if he's going to be injured all the time, taking up all the cap space. I don't know. I just don't.
You know how like people talk about like how Tibbs like runs his players into the ground and they just start getting like broken? Do you think that like the Ball, like LeVar Ball, is that his name, right?
Yeah. No, this is an interesting.
Did he just like run them
journey.
too hard at too young of an age, and now they're just like all breaking down?
Yeah, I guess LaMelo was one of those guys who's playing like a ton of AAU basketball, playing like international basketball, and that's really hard on like a young player.
Absolutely, and
forward.
playing again his final season before entering the NBA, he's playing against grown-ass men in the NBL. So, I mean, that's a really interesting point. But I think we've seen LaMelo be able to influence winning. They've been in the play-in twice over the course. And, like, they have not had talented rosters, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you got to remember, though, those were like his early years on the team, and he was getting benched in the fourth quarter a lot those years when they were winning. Like, I don't know if he really influenced his winning
fourth quarter sometimes. Okay,
that's not good for your star player.
But in your first 2 years, and I don't think that is a coaching decision. I don't think that every coach would have made that decision. And I don't know. I think we've seen enough this year. He had a stretch that he looked absolutely incredible. We've seen him be able to effectively score from 3 in pretty much every year, but this year, 37, 38. I just think there's something there. This dude is 6'8", can pass like a freaking wizard, can shoot from super deep. I'm not a believer in Steve Clifford. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But
Kupchak, Clifford.
Not a believer in Mitch Kupchak as far as like a culture setter and a talent identifier.
For those of you who don't know, Mitch Kupchak is the GM of the Hornets. So he was the GM of the Lakers when they won with Kobe and Powell, but he was also the mastermind of the like 10 years that followed that, which was a disaster.
Yeah, the last Kobe contract. I don't know. I'm willing to take an L on the Hornets long term.
I guess like my 2 questions relating to LaMelo, if I'm going to compare him to 2 players, like would you rather have going forward Cade or LaMelo?
That's super close for me. That's super because like you can't say either one of them has been like avoidant of injuries.
Yeah.
And I've seen LaMelo win a little bit. I've never seen Cade influence winning at all on any level. Even we've never seen Cade even approach the play-in, which obviously this is his 3rd year. He missed all of last season. But the idea of these guys, I'd probably lean LaMelo. Yeah, I'd probably lean LaMelo.
Okay, so another guy. A guy I feel like we talk about a lot on this pod. If Trae Young is the 10 seed, now I know Trae Young's missed like the last couple games. How are the Hornets ever going to be like how do you think he stacks up with Trae? Like I think Trae is just straight up better than LaMelo.
I mean, yeah, right now Trae is straight up better than LaMelo. But I'm just like if you switch their context, what is it like? Like, what does LaMelo look like on the Hawks? Because I think I think there'd be more nights, though, where Cade could outright carry a really bad team by himself than I think LaMelo can. I don't know
Which
about
I don't,
that.
As it relates to winning a championship, doesn't really matter. Yeah. But I don't know. I think the Hornets would be a lot better if you switched them.
Cade and LaMelo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We have no evidence to show that.
Trae
and LaMelo.
Trae and LaMelo.
Yeah, my thing is like the size, just the physical size. I think is very, very valuable, and obviously Trey is a more talented offensive player, but I think that their like percentages look pretty similar for the most part as far as efficiency, and then like. I'm choosing a guy that is an like obviously LaMelo has not been super engaged on the defensive end of the court, but I don't know. I just think
I guess my thing.
I like the jeans. I think he's gonna be able to fill out.
I don't know. He's currently 181 pounds.
But he's 6'8".
Like, even though he's 6'8", he's still able to get bullied, and he's just not able to force his will on offense. I don't know. I guess
hey, Trey.
But Trey Young has shown it doesn't matter with him. He's so good. I don't know. We'll have to agree to disagree on the Hornets. That'll be.
Trey is a better player than LaMelo Ball. Like flat out. Like I am not saying that Trey is not the better player there. But
you're talking about the way you project LaMelo to continue to grow. He's still a pretty young player.
I mean, you even look at like Lonzo's body. Like I never thought Lonzo was gonna be before he got injured. Yeah. But Lonzo really filled out in a real way.
Yeah, became a really dominant. Became a
really great perimeter defender. And you look at LeVar. Like that dude is a brick shithouse.
He was on the Jets practice squad. I think we brought up the Jets earlier.
These guys are big, strong guys. I don't know. Okay, so
number three. I think we have the same number 3, the Houston Rockets.
Yes, we do have the same number 3.
Okay, do you feel like there's a massive jump in future outlook from the team, Jazz, Hornets to Rockets? Because I feel this is definitely huge. This Rockets team isn't Cam Whitmore, 19 years old, Jabari Smith Jr., 20 years old, Alperen Şengün, 21 years old, Amin Thompson, 21 years old, Tari Eason, 22 years old, Jalen Green, 22 years old. Dude, I love this Rockets team. Before the season started, I thought they could get to 35 wins. It looks like they're going to pass 35 wins. I'm obsessed with this team, and I think they're going to be so good that all they have to do is just keep it together. I like Van Vliet. He's 30, but like the way he plays, the way his role will diminish over time as the young guys step in is good. Dylan Brooks, I feel like, has fit nicely on this team. He's 28. Like, again, another guy that's just like, as the young guys get older and his role diminishes, I think it just makes a lot of sense. Steven Adams, we'll see how he looks next year, but like that's a guy. Like I think this team could compete for 8, 9, 7, 6 next year.
My big question about the Rockets going into the season is like, who is their guy?
It's Şengün.
They had so many really talented prospects, and the biggest development of the year is, you're right, it's Şengün. Like, this guy is a huge difference maker. And having a development like that just like enables you to have clarity in your roster building going forward and clarity in your strategic like process as well. Like, I don't think we see like the last couple weeks, even though Şengün has been out, I don't think we see the last couple weeks without the clear like hierarchy that has been laid out in Houston. But just like every single one of those guys that you have listed off has had a moment.
Like even Whitmore has started to look really good. And it's like this team almost has too many good young guys. It's crazy.
I mean, we haven't even talked about Jalen Green over the last 2 weeks. This guy is averaging, where is his points per game? But he's 44% from 3. He is just like, I think he's, 27 points a game over 6 games over the last 2 weeks. Really effective rebounder, 6.8 rebounds per game. Like, that is an incredible flash in the pan from a guy who has been very hot and cold.
I like that this team can play a slow down, physical, nitty gritty, grinded out style, or they can play a Jalen Green, Amin Thompson. We're going to run up and down the court with Jabari Smith Jr. at the 5 during the non-Şengün minutes and just like obliterate you with speed. Like, I don't know. I love the Rockets team construction.
Yeah, I mean, Jabari Smith Jr. and Tari Eason and Amin on the wing. Like, how do you just like fall face first into this like young under 23 wing room.
Yeah, I think
is amazing.
I think too, like, there's been a lot of chatter about, like, does Jalen Green really fit on this team? I don't know if him and Udoka are the best cultural fit, but, like, I don't know, man. He's 22. Like, maybe as he gets to 23, 24, like, and the other guys are getting older, like, I think this team is uniquely positioned to just, like, let these guys, even if they don't fit perfectly right now culturally, like, just let them gel over time, let them mold their games to each other's games, and, like, I feel like this team has the potential to be the next, like, wow, these guys have been together for 4 years and now look how good they are type team. Because, like, the fact that they're going to get to 36 wins this year, I know was a big believer in them, but, like, not everyone was. And, like, this team, I feel like they're like, this is like year 0. This isn't even year 1. Like, next year is like year 1. Maybe this is year 1, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not even close to year 2, 3 with this core.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I wasn't very high on this team just because I'm like, what am I looking at here? You know, there's totally a, like, world where they have more of a Pistons type year, and it's like all the guys that we were excited about, no one really worked out, but everybody worked out in Houston. And, you know, they could make the play-in still. Like, it's pretty unlikely, but they're on a 6-game win streak right now. I think they're only 2.5 games back of the Warriors right now. So, like, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that they could put themselves in a position to be there. But yeah, they just have so many, like, in a playoff series, when we're looking at really great teams, we're always talking about, like, what are the different ways that this specific team can win. And I think when you look at the personnel on the Rockets, there are just so many ways that this team could develop like another, like, sub identity. Like their small ball lineup that you can project forward with Jabari Smith at the 5, Amen Thompson as this, like, he could almost play like that Russell Westbrook role that he did on the Rockets. And then have Tari Eason out there, who's just like an absolute, like, bear, like Kawhi with no bag out there. Like, I mean, you got to be super excited. And it all stems from Alperen Şengün, who I had as an all-star. Like, that guy is just, like, such a game changer, perfect for the modern NBA. You can play in so many different ways. And I think if his shot can continue to progress as well, if he can get up to, like, that 35% from 3 world, then we're really cooking from gas. Then it doesn't matter how the other guys shoot at all. It's just, like, full panic mode when he has the ball. Yeah, I mean, the other guy too that, like, because he's only 20, like, man, Jabari Smith Jr., like, I think this guy still could be really freaking good one day. Totally.
Like, I would not be surprised if next year he takes a huge jump. Because, like, he didn't take a huge jump this year, but, like, he bumped up his 3-point percentage by 6, field goal percentage by 5. Like, points only went up by 1, but, like, he's playing on a much more stacked team than he did his rookie year.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I see Jabari Smith Jr. as kind of like a bigger Mikal Bridges kind of guy with a little less on-ball equity.
A little bit more rimmy.
But the one thing, from a guy that has watched every Mikal Bridges playoff minute, that you wish Mikal Bridges had is you wish he was 6'11".
Yeah.
You know? Which is what Jabari Smith is, you know?
Yeah, I love this Rockets team. I've kind of been obsessed with them. But, okay, your number 2.
My number 2 is the San Antonio Spurs.
I have them at number 1.
Okay. Yeah, my thing about the San Antonio Spurs is there was one guy.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 with Devin Vassell. I still don't know what Devin Vassell really is on a great team.
I think I know exactly what Devin Vassell is on a really great team, and it's an elite off-the-ball shooter, closeout attacker, and not someone who should be handling the ball all too much.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I just don't know if he is, like,
if he's going to grow into
a starter. You know, I think he's definitely a contributor.
I think he's 100% a starter on a team. I think he's 100% a starter. I'm pretty high on Vassell. I think lost in the whole, like, they haven't been treating Victor right with this whole Sohan experiment is, like, if we thought they threw Victor to the Wolves, they've thrown Vassell to the Wolves on this team. Like, they're giving him nothing.
Yeah, no, they don't really care. But talk about the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do in NBA history ever, like the thing that most franchises have never even done, is to have a guy with the potential to be the best
Ever.
Yeah,
that's why I have them number one. Obviously, you have Memphis number one. Mm-hmm. I have Memphis number two. Like, clearly, Memphis doesn't even need to prove anything to us. They've shown how high they can still. There's a little bit of questions going into next year, but like, to me, just like, I think the thing with Victor is there's been a lot of talk about like how much Victor has improved this season, which he definitely has. But I think the one sneaky thing, not even that sneaky, is just the big change other than Victor himself was just that they started playing Trey Jones more and started Trey Jones. And it's like, there is the seismic shift when it's like, wow, when you put a below average point guard next to Victor, all of a sudden he looks like a god. Imagine if they put an average point guard next to him. Imagine they draft Nikola Topic, and Topic, maybe the shot's not quite there, but like the passing's really there. And all of a sudden Victor's just unlocked even more. Like, would you be shocked if Victor averaged like 27 next year?
Not at all.
Would you be shocked if Victor, like, next season we're like, wow, he's like the third best passing big man in the league?
Not at all. I feel like he's already that now.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I just think when you have a GOAT candidate like this, I don't want to be like hyperbolic, but like right now, Victor, 20.7 points, 10.4 rebounds, 1.3 steals, 3.5 blocks. This guy has the potential to be the best player in the NBA by like his third year. That'll be tough in a league where Jokic exists. To be honest, I don't know. It's going to be really tough to overtake Jokic's throne, but this guy has the potential to be the GOAT, and for that alone, I have the Spurs number one. Also, I think I'm a little higher in Vassell. I just think the team situation is not helping him at all.
I mean, I think Vassell's a good player. Yeah. I think Vassell's a good player. I just, like, I don't know. Like, he is pretty, like, buildable in, like, he fits a lot of, like, things, but we just got to see it out. I don't think he's a bad player. He's just been on a really, really bad team.
Yeah, I feel like Vassell's had like a tornado of a career, not to make excuses, but it's like he comes in, it's like DeJounte Murray. Are we trying to be good? Oh no, we traded DeJounte Murray. Now we're really bad. Now we're really bad, but we have Victor. And all of a sudden I went from being like kind of the guy to no one seems to even remember I'm on this team at times. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, it starts and ends with Wemby. Like, I'm just shocked by like what his usage has been this year for a big man. What he's shown as like his defensive versitility has been. I mean, like, I knew it. I saw it. I saw the vision.
We just didn't think he'd be this actualized.
I didn't think he would be so actualized. And like talk about like areas to grow for Wemby. He has not been a positive offensive player on off for the Spurs this season. He's been negative 4.4 net rating on offense and plus 11.5 on deep, or minus 11.5. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, his passing, like, this dude is in the 99th percentile in terms of passing versatility. Just like the angles he creates that he can pass from are literally angles that we have never seen before. He's an all defensive guy for me this season. Just from what I've seen, his ability to defend on the perimeter has been insane. And the things that like make him more elite are just like tightening up the 3-point percentage, which has been incredible since the All-Star break, and tightening up the turnovers, which with roster construction and just one more. This dude is 19 years old.
He's so good.
He's so good. It's terrifying.
Oh my, yeah. Okay, let's talk about your number one, my number two, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, this team has a bright future because the only reason they're even in this discussion right now is because of injuries. John Morant obviously was suspended the first 25 games. He came back. He looked awesome, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And, you know, injury concern with Ja, I think, is a big thing. I think, Max, I don't want to put the juju out there, but we saw the Edwards dunk where did he break his finger?
He dislocated his finger.
Dislocated his finger? Him and Edwards, but I'll focus more on Ja. They go for big dunk hunting, and big dunk hunting leads to injuries, man. Like, that's how Ja hurt his hand, I think, against the Lakers last year, right?
Yes.
Just high jump into landing on that hand. Yeah. Hopefully his jaw, I don't know if jaw will ever mature, but hopefully, his jaw presumably matures. He kind of starts realizing that high flying acrobatics and highlights are great for the boys back home, but not great for your career.
It is kind of just in his DNA.
It's in his DNA.
I feel like that is part of what makes him so good. But yeah, like we said, Ja only played 9 games this year, and to couple with that, they have just been absolutely ravaged by injuries by every other player on their team. Like Desmond Bane has only played 39 games. Jaren Jackson Jr. played 59 games, which is pretty good, but their big addition, Marcus Smart, 20 games, just like not anything that you can survive by, but like just to like reiterate who the Grizzlies are in the Taylor Jenkins Ja era. Last year they had 51 wins. 2 years ago they had 56 wins. Like that is not easy to do at all. Get in the like just
mind
neighborhood.
You, those
of 60
years,
wins.
Ja's like 21 years old.
Exactly.
So like Ja is a super high level player. I'm really high on Desmond Bane. I think Bane's really good. I love Jaren. Like I love this core 3 of Ja, Bane, and Jaren, 24, and 25 years old. Like they're going to be kind of in the prime of their career, the beginning of their primes, not even the prime. They're going to just be entering their primes next season. My one worry, though, is because last year we saw them have a drop-off when Steven Adams got hurt. It really hurt their offensive rebounding. Jaren at the 5 as an idea has been really fun. In reality, it seems like the team is a lot better when they're more grit and grind, put him at the 4. And I don't know. What's the plan to get a big guy in there?
Yeah, so I was super pro the Jaren Jackson at the 5 experiment coming into the year, and I am kind of backing off of that stance because I think just what Jaren is great at doesn't really fit that mold. And I think when your team has this high of a ceiling and you've proven it before, it's kind of not the time to try that out. So they're tradable contracts right now. They've got team option for Luke Kennard, who's making $14.8 million. They've got Zaire Williams, who's still on his rookie contract, making $6.1. And then they've got the Marcus Smart deal, which is a $20 million contract. They've got all of their picks moving forward. So I feel, in my opinion, I love moving off Steven Adams right now. And this is the summer where you make your move. Your team's going to be really expensive, but you've got really great players. And if your ownership is willing to put the pedal to the metal and invest, I think now is the time. And honestly, the first place that I look, the team that I am cheering against the most, if I am a Memphis Grizzlies fan, is the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they've got 2 centers. I think either way could be a really, really fun like mix in Memphis. Like if the Timberwolves want to give up on Cat, go for that. If the Timberwolves want to give up on Rudy Gobert, he's like Mecca Steven Adams.
They can have Luka Garza if they want.
Yeah. And I mean,
fine with me.
That totally might not happen, but if like we've heard so much, I don't know if you saw the Rodriguez, Mark Lowry purchase of the Timberwolves just went through. It had been really weird. They like the old ownership of the Timberwolves, like there was this story that he like assumed that the sale was going to go through on March 1st, and Rodriguez and Lowry were like, oh, like when we said we would have the money by March, we meant the end of March, because they had this like huge investor like completely fall through, and they were able to secure it, and like they finally closed the deal, I think like 2 days ago. But for a team that is marching towards impending like luxury tax hell like the Timberwolves, not what I want to see as a Timberwolves fan. And I think there is a good chance that they're going to have to move off someone in the very near future. And if it's one of those centers, I think the idea of Cat next to Jaren Jackson Jr., I think is really enticing, especially when you're built around a guy like Ja. And if you want to just run back what went well, I think a couple less years on that Rudy Gobert contract, and you throw the Timberwolves some picks. I think makes a lot of sense too. So, and then, I mean, there's other centers in the league as well that you could pivot to. But I think this offseason is the time to invest.
Yeah, I don't think Gobert is realistic with the contract. I don't know how that would fit into the cap. But I don't know. Gobert and Ja seems like a really bad cultural fit. But
I mean, it's just those three guys for Gobert. Gobert makes like $40 million.
I just don't know what to make of the Adams trade because I'm with you. Like, he's old. He's gone through a lot of injuries. He's 30, though. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's just really risky when you see your team just really struggle without this one role player, and then you trade him and you don't replace him with the same archetype of that role player. I'm just a little worried about that because they really took a step back when they lost their bruiser.
Yeah.
But, I mean, regardless, you have the number 1. I have the number 2. I firmly believe this is going to be a team fighting for a top 4 seed in the West next year.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, like, even if you, like, looking further down on like teams around, like, could you overpay for a Jared Allen if the stuff with the Cavs doesn't work out? Could you pay for a cheaper guy who is on a contract that has team control, like Brook Lopez, who's a little bit more further on in his career, but offers the same amount of like stretching of the floor and just like having a gigantic body? Or like maybe you could get a pick if you take on a guy like a Clint Capella or a Vucevic. Like, there's just a lot of centers who are sitting out there, and with the talent you have on this team, especially with the talent that you've discovered this year in a Vince Williams Jr., in a Gigi Jackson, like I just love.
Yeah, I love Memphis too.
Memphis going forward.
I guess my worry, I think Adams might sneakily be way better than we all think he is. It just seems like everywhere he goes, he's so impactful.
That is true. I mean, he's so unselfish. He's such an amazing rebounder. But at least you have the blueprint.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm like, super high on Memphis. I got him number 2.
This is what you need to do, Nikola Vucevic.
If Wembanyama wasn't a literal GOAT candidate, I would have Memphis number 1.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Health isn't easy, but it should at least be simple. That's why for the last year, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, no exceptions. It's just 1 scoop mixed in water once a day, every day, and it makes me feel strong and ready to take on my day. That's because each serving of AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more. It's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. AG1 has been really helpful for me because lately I've been on a lower calorie, super high protein diet and I need to still get my vitamins and minerals, and AG1 makes that really, really easy for me. I just take it every day in the morning and my whole day is just ahead of me and I feel great throughout the day. If there's one product I'd recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1, and that's why I've partnered with them for so long. So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/foultrouble. That's drinkag1.com/foultrouble. Check it out. All right, should we get the hot streak shooting slump?
Let's do it.
How was your week, man? Hot streak shooting
It was
slump?
okay. I had a lot going on at work, so it was a little stressful, but I am very happy. I got approved for an apartment.
Let's go.
That me and my girlfriend applied to. That is like, it's going to be so much more room, so much more storage, which I am hyped about. It'll be a little bit easier with my commute, which I have an insane commute to work every day. So I'll say I'm on a hot streak. Is really exciting, and that doesn't happen every week that you get approved for something that I believe will make my quality of life much better.
Yeah.
At a very similar price, which is nice. What about you?
I'm on a heater.
There we go.
I'm on a hot streak. I've just had a really good week. I've had a lot of good things happen. I hit a PR on the bench press. I feel like I've watched a lot of good basketball. My Mavericks.
Oh, vomit. Oh my God. I'm having a shooting slump now.
Just out hearing you say that.
Your Mavericks. How many teams do you have?
Every team that's good is just
Let me count.
Yeah.
Let me count the teams that are my teams. The Nuggets are my team. The Mavericks. The Lakers. It's 3. The Rockets. I put my flag on Rockets Island.
Yeah.
See, I love Wemby, but I feel like I've kind of hated on the Spurs infrastructure. So I've got 4 teams in the West. All right. I like the Cavs, but I like the Knicks more. I'll take the Knicks.
Oh, you're taking the Knicks?
Yeah, of course. I love the Knicks. The Heat, the Sixers have been one of my teams. I've got 7 teams.
You gotta make a commitment, my friend.
Yeah.
You gotta take one of your teams.
You
Take
want one of
them
my
out.
teams?
No, I don't need your team. I got my team. Okay, it's sitting right here by my heart, like a true fan. Through thick or thin, I'm sticking with one. I'm a one team kind of guy.
Well, I stuck through my Mavs last season when things got thin, and now things are thick.
You stuck. This guy stuck through his Mavs while he watched his Heat go to the fucking finals.
It was great, bro. One team was down, one team was up.
This guy is like a Mormon going about life.
Anyway, also my Nuggets, great game. I love watching Jokic, man. It's a joy to watch him. I don't know. I've just had a lot of good things happen to me. I've had a lot of issues. My old YouTube network had to fight them to pay me, so finally they paid me, which has been nice. Some brands also just have reluctantly not been paying me, so they finally started sending me my payment. I've been like months delayed on some payments, and they all finally came in this week, so it's been nice. But I don't know. I'm just in a great mood. Hot streak. It's like hot streak season. I'm excited for the playoffs. Random thought, unrelated to hot streak shooting slump. If the Nuggets win the championship this year, and Serbia wins the gold medal, is Jokic the GOAT?
We don't have enough time to have this conversation.
Just like,
no. I'm not ready to say that.
but that would be the most impressive stretch of basketball any single human has ever played.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it might be like the best run, like 12-month run of a guy. But
I'm just saying LeBron and Jordan never beat Team USA.
That is true. But we don't know what Team USA is.
But if
actually
Team USA
gonna
is
look
like LeBron, Steph, Embiid,
yeah, the best player on the number 9 seed in the West, the best player on the number 10 seed in the West, the 2 best players on the number 8
well,
seed
it's
in the
not
West.
unfortunately for Team USA, the best player on the number 1 seed in the West is Canadian.
That is true.
I can't wait for the Bucks to like be in the finals, and then you claim that the Bucks are one of your teams too.
No, I won't claim the Bucks. I like Giannis, but I won't claim the Bucks.
We'll see.
Let's see what happens.
We'll see when we get there.
No, because the Bucks are gonna have to go through one of my 7, probably multiple of my 7 to get
One
there.
of your 7. There's only 30 teams in the league.
Yeah, I'm not even having a third of them.
You should get a couple more.
No, I don't want any of the other ones. Well, the Nets are like a half team.
The Nets?
I like the Nets.
You can't like the Knicks and the Nets, bro.
That's true. I'll take the Knicks.
No, it's okay. He already likes the Knicks and the Heat, the
And the
Sixers,
Mavs and the
and
Heat.
the Knicks, the Mavs, and the Lakers.
But here's the thing with the Sixers: the moment Embiid leaves, I'm out. And the Mavs too. Like they're like acquaintances more than friendships.
This guy.
Like once
Shameful.
Luka leaves the Mavs, I'm off Mavs Island.
Oh.
All right, Max, how was your week?
I'm slumping. I'll go through it real quick, but yeah, I just haven't been sleeping well. Just been feeling kind of shitty. But you know what? You got to go low to go high. So
Max.
I'll be back.
Low to go high.
You know what I'm
Go
saying?
low to go high. Exactly. The great mantra for the teams we talked about today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what tanking's all about.
I will say, the Nuggets and the Wolves had a big game the other night, and it was really close. And I won't shut up about how close it was, considering the fact that we were missing 3 of our best players.
No, I'm with you, Max. Dude, I have a good story. In 2007, there was a team, the New England Patriots.
Never heard of them.
They went undefeated in the regular season, but they had one game that was really, really, really close. The closest game of their season. They beat the Giants, who beat them later in the Super Bowl. So Timberwolves, hey, revenge season.
I gotta say, at the end of that season, the Patriots had like 3 or 4 close games. I remember they had a game against the Ravens that was really close as well, but that Giants game was super close.
Yeah.
So Timberwolves upset Nuggets in playoffs.
Look, all I'm going to say is the Wolves are going to go deep in the playoffs this year. I'm not going to say they're winning. I don't know that that's really in the cards, but I'm seeing a second round playoff exit. that
Okay.
is
No.
triumphant.
All right, let's go speed round. Speed round real quick. Timberwolves, Kings. Timberwolves in
6.
6. Okay. Timberwolves, Nuggets. Timberwolves in
8.
All right, whoa. All right, let's say the Nuggets get the 1 seed. Timberwolves, Thunder. Wolves in 7. Okay. And then the Nuggets. They're scary, man.
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll close the show on that. Do you want to do that for the Suns too?
Not right now. Maybe tomorrow.
All right, we'll talk to you guys on Monday. We're going to be doing our awards ballot on Monday, and we're going to be doing All NBA the episode after that. So be looking forward to that. We'll see you next week. Peace.